Here at Wave 3 News, we are very proud of our partnership with WaterStep, and I'm proud to call him my friend. Mark Hogg joins us, who is the CEO and founder of WaterStep. We've got a studio audience. A little applause for Mark Hogg, if you would, please. There we go.
Big crowd. You say free lunch, everybody shows up. So we're going to have lunch today. Good to see you, John.
Good to see you as well.
Merry
And you're
Christmas.
bearing gifts.
Yes.
I love. I don't know. I hope we can get a close up of this. Here, let me go over here to this camera because I think it's the one that's going to be able to pick this up. But this is where you want me? Right there. Is that good? Yeah. This is the logo for WaterStep. Look at that. That is so cool. And it really does say it all. It's about fresh water. Although I do think your idea has expanded and evolved, Mark, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. Well, you know, one of the things I love about this show, John, and thank you and Wade for always having us at the end of the year for this show and giving us this show. It's awesome. It allows us to let the people of Louisville and the region know together what we're able to do. And when you gather with great people, great stuff happens. And ideas kind of keep moving, and you're able to make big change. You're also able to draw in people that want to be a part of giving their life's dream to something bigger than themselves. And we're going to get to meet Nikki and Valentina later, who've done that in Ecuador and Colombia. Young girls that have just found a niche and been able to do that. So it's amazing how WaterStep's grown over the years. And you all have been wonderful to tell the story. You, in particular, have just shouted it out well. Thank you.
Because I believe in what you do, and I do think the idea of fresh water to everyone, that's a given. Here we're somewhat spoiled. Not somewhat, we are spoiled.
Right.
But when a natural disaster happens, whether you're in the United States or in Puerto Rico, whatever the case may be, everyone needs help. So tell me about some of the accomplishments of 2018, Mark.
This year was amazing. We've been able to do a disaster in North Carolina, and we've also been able to continue to pick up on our work that we've done in Puerto Rico, make that more of a development process and build some relationships down there. Well, North Carolina was very interesting for us. We were able to get some partnerships there. We drove over to North Carolina, had some great people that you know, we got really cheap trucks, big trucks to take over, lots of equipment, and began to connect with some people there and make a difference. And what's interesting, one of our favorite stories, and you can find this on our blog, is we swung into McDonald's. We were on our way up to the pig country. North Carolina is the largest pork producer in the world.
I did not know this.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Well, they had thousands and thousands of pigs die in the storm. So we wanted to go up there and see if there were some contaminated wells that people might need to shock and make safe, and our equipment can do that. Stopped at McDonald's, got into a conversation with a little girl having pancakes with her mama, and she said, you know, our water we can't drink in our little community. Would you come help us? So we followed them into their community. Their pastor at the church was the mayor of the community. They got jazzed about what we had. Immediately we started planning a session, and so we pulled off a session for the area emergency disaster folks and their volunteer firemen and women, and we gave equipment out, and then they were able to take that equipment. One gentleman put a large bladder tank on his monster army truck that's got those big axles on it, filled it up, made it safe to drink because the water there wasn't safe to drink, and began to drive that around the community and being able to fill containers for people to have safe water. That's the kind of connection, you were talking about connections a few minutes ago, that's the kind of connections that can happen with something so simple and people that are so passionate to help, just like that, and all starting with a little 6-year-old girl.
Wow. See, now, if you're thinking about a charitable donation, and you've heard the story now about WaterStep, that's what's great about this is sometimes it's instantaneous. You wonder where your money goes, how does it help people? And that was a conversation, and then you hit the ground running. And that's what you're able to do in Puerto Rico, in Ecuador, wherever you may be, Colombia, you're able to do that. Now, for those who aren't familiar with how you accomplish that, it's not as complex as you may think.
Not at all.
I mean, don't get me wrong, real science is involved.
Sure.
But you guys have got this down to an art. Show me what we have on the table.
Well, I brought a couple of our most common used tools. This is our chlorine generator. This we use, both units used with simple salt and a car battery. You remember in high school, your chemistry teacher had you take a couple of nails, put it in a beaker of salt water, fire it up with a 9-volt battery, and all of a sudden you're smelling bleach. Similar process. This is the tool that we use for large containers of water. We could fill up this building with water, and at the rate of 55 gallons a minute, approximately,
with
this unit,
that's amazing.
We can start making the water safe using the gas so it stirs well, because bleach has a tendency to sink. This is a unit that we've developed, and this, so proud of our team. Our team developed this on its own. It's being used now in the Ebola virus in Liberia. 2 years ago, we were inspired by some folks in that responded to that virus to help ask us to do something. So we came up with this tool. It's simply the size of a curling iron, John, which is great. We're trying to get it to where you can also use it to curl your hair. Back in a moment with that. But this is the same type of technology that we're talking about. You put a cup and a half of salt in here, water, shake it up, and put it in here for bleach in an hour and a half with a car battery. Here's the kicker. In North Carolina, we were able to connect with communities. So once we followed this little girl, all of a sudden we got connection after connection going. Went to another community, no safe water. The community's actually been flooded so much, their Main Street businesses are gone. They said, this is it, we're gone, the community's probably going to collapse. But here's the deal, they had no disinfection at the store. So one of the gentlemen who was a pastor and a leader in the community and was connected with the disaster workers set up several of these and began manufacturing bleach in 55-gallon drums to hand out. Because if you can imagine being in a situation, I don't have safe water to drink, but what am I going to clean my house with?
Sanitary
I'm going to
reasons,
take care of my family, and I can't drive even to go to the store. I can't get anything. Well, I can go over to see Pastor Bill, and he's going to give me 3 gallons of bleach to take home, and I can use that, and I wouldn't have access to it.
And sometimes I think, you know, for recovery relief, you develop relationships that are long-lasting.
Right.
And that's part of your mission, isn't it? It's not to make an immediate impact, which certainly is a big part of it, but it's also to have continuing relationships that expand.
Exactly. And you don't want to waste anything in life, right? And especially a relationship. So these relationships we have in North Carolina are ripe and ready for us to try and figure out how to do more and more and better work in the U.S. And you're exactly right. Those relationships we're holding on to, and they're holding on to us because we want to do more.
Ah, that's fantastic. Okay, a little bit of a tease here. Coming up, we have Valentina and Nikki.
Right.
What are we going to talk about in the next segment?
So Nikki's had a history with us. She's helped us out in Ecuador. Valentina started collecting shoes. You know, we sell used shoes to make money to do water projects. So Valentina and her mama came in through the summer. She's from Sacred Heart. They're doing, you know, volunteer.
Sacred Heart. See, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, they're an incredible school. That's right. And you're going to see the rich passion of young people here. Valentina started thinking about her family. Her mama's family's in Colombia. They're all around people that don't have safe water. So she said, will y'all help me do a water project down there? And we said, yeah. And so I called Nikki and I said, hey, would you like to hang out with Valentina and pour your life into her a little bit? And she said, yeah. So they went down together and did it.
Being compassionate is contagious. So coming up, you're going to hear more of the story of WaterStep and how you can help. It's that time of year. Maybe you're looking for a philanthropic gift. Maybe you want to make a charitable gift to someone who is making a difference in the world and here in the United States. Do it. There's the number on the screen. We'll be right back on Wave 3 Listens Live.